Hi everyone, Subnautica. It's an incredibly vast game with an extensive story and deep lore. This is a video for anyone who wants to know the overall history of the game without spending the next 2 hours on a video essay, or just needs some blanks filling. So, let's dive in. Rewinding 1,000 years or so, these old cybernetic alien people, called the Architects, discovered a nasty bacterium widely known as the Kara. This bacterium proved massively fatal to the Architects, wiping out approximately 143 billion of them on their worlds. Pretty upset with having over 100 billion of them wiped out, the Architects touched down on the ocean planet 4546b, Kara in hand. They intended to study it, looking for a way to cure it before it killed the rest of them. Unfortunately, due to a lead scientist architect thinking a ginormous dragon leviathan was harmless, he stole its egg and paid the price. The sea dragon leviathan smashed into the facility containing its egg, bringing the whole thing down. The egg wasn't the only thing in there, however. The Kara was held in the exact same facility, and it was broken out of its containment and proceeded to ravage the planet, its native lifeforms and architects alike. This forced the Architects to retreat, either die or store their consciousness away in databanks. However, this wasn't before building perhaps the most impressive creation seen in game, the Quarantine Enforcement Platform. This mighty machine would indiscriminately obliterate any ship attempting to enter or leave the planet's atmosphere, and with that, the Architects' time on this planet were up. Fast forwarding about 990 years, a Mongolian ship owned by the Torgal Corporation was doing its usual routes when deciding to take a detour to visit 4546b. Unfortunately for them, there was hardly a warm welcome. And though the Quarantine Enforcement Platform was almost 1,000 years old at this point, it charged up and promptly shot the Degassi straight out of the sky, sending it careening into the ocean, killing 3 of the 6 crew members upon impact. The survivors, father and son, Paul and Bart Torgal, and Marguerite Maida, quickly set up shop on a nearby island, though this would be a rather fruitless endeavour. As heavy rainfall proved to be too much for them, they decided to make a base a bit deeper. Their island base can be found crushed under a landslide, so it seems they made a pretty good call. However, they found a mysterious papal tablet that's unlike anything they'd seen before, so it wasn't all for naught. Their next destination was in the Jelly Shroom Caves, though, as luck would have it, water quickly began to breach their hull shortly after setting up shop, forcing them to move out once more. Perhaps third time's the charm though, as we move over to the deep Grand Reef. If you ignore the locals, things seem to be going okay. They had no leaks, there weren't any leviathans around, and they found an orange tablet similar to what they'd found before. Things were looking up, until that is, Marguerite brought back an injured leviathan for Bart to study, only to realise a little too late that she'd been followed by one of its angry friends. It destroyed the base, and they were all separated. Marguerite dragged into the distance whilst fighting it, Paul presumably killed by a crab squid while trying to find his son, and Bart succumbing to the Kara bacterium, still present on the planet. 10 years later, a giant spaceship owned by the Altera Corporation was attempting to perform a slingshot manoeuvre around 4546b when an all too familiar, bright green light came a-knocking. Funnily enough, although there were 157 passengers and 25 lifeboats deployed, only one person lasted longer than a couple days, a janitor named Riley Robinson. That's you. Waking up on this watery death trap, you try what you can to survive. Build a home, put up some posters, try a hand at some gardening, but then something begins to reach out to you. Something otherworldly, speaking to you as if it were directly in your head. You need to find a way out of here, but lucky for you, after about a week, a very friendly space captain reaches out due to the distress calls from the Aurora and comes to save you. Though, after being blasted out the sky, you go to investigate what did such damage. Upon arriving at the Quarantine Enforcement Platform and finding a convenient key the aliens must have forgot to hide, you enter and find the off switch. Sadly though, you're informed that infected lifeforms can't shut it off. Infected? With what? You need answers, but luckily, the aliens have coordinates for all of their bases. Nice. As you completely raid all of their facilities, your illnesses get worse. You fear it may be the end of the road, but that voice from earlier is back, and it wants to help you. Deep in the lava-filled depths, you find the source, the Sea Emperor, and it says its babies can help find the cure of the Kara with the enzyme they excrete. A little gross sounding, but better than death, so you help out the big Emperor, and the babies are free, spreading their enzyme, and curing you, and the rest of 4546b. You then turn off the big death ray and leave the planet, never to return. There, or anywhere though, as the company you stole from to survive is holding you accountable, and they're not going to let you land until you pay your trillion credit debt.